right, so you may or may not have already realized, but it was shearing day today. I'm sitting on a bucket out here in the field, thinking maybe they'll come over and hang out with me, but they don't like the fact that I'm sitting, and so it's like freaking them out. But anyway, I was going to do this before our fancy haircuts, and I was going to do more filming during the haircuts, and then show the after process, but you know what? I get what I get. So, yeah. So we have had a rough week, and by we, I mean me. Oh, you're so precious, I know. Let me preface this by saying that I'm going to go into full complain mode for a moment. But I'm alive and have a roof over my head, so I am a lot better off than a lot of other people out there, at least in the last week. So can't complain too much. But this was our spring break off from school. Today's Saturday. Let me see if I can put my elbow down. There we go. Today is Saturday. Tomorrow is Easter Sunday. And so I had all last week off of school. So started out on last Saturday, so a week ago. And I was going to Tractor Supply to get some probiotics, and I need something else because I'll show you Ulia in a minute. She's a hot mess. But I went to go there and got partially there, almost there, and my car started acting up, and I'm like, oh my gosh, not now. And so I pulled over into a CVS. Ooh, oh my gosh, he's still hitting me. Anyway, no, excuse me. You are being rude. Spawn at me. I mean, come on. Anyway, so pulled over and was like, I need a tow. Like, there's no way I can drive this. Like, the acceleration was off. And so I called up school and was like, hey, can I borrow a minibus? And they're like, of course you can borrow a minibus. So I got somebody to drive me back to school, got a minibus, and then got somebody to tow my car. Okay. So then I'm driving the minibus all weekend and realize on my last night where I have to work and drive all the way to Williamsburg in the minibus that the taillights are out. So I managed to make it to Williamsburg and back without any trouble. So that was good. Dropped it back off at school. Had somebody on Wednesday pick me up and go take me to the dealership because supposedly my car was finished $1,200 later. You know how that is. So I get there, get my car, leave, go back home. I did something else. Oh, I went to work and then came back home. And the next day on Thursday, I had to go get a bunch more hay and straw. I needed straw because the barn that's over here, the sheep aren't usually in there, but it was going to storm. And so I was like, okay, let me go get like some tarps and some straw and I'll put it down and then I'll be able to put them in the barn just to keep them out of the storm so they don't get wet for shearing, because they cannot get wet for shearing. And of course, it was beautiful and gorgeous all week except for the days that I needed it to be dry. So whatever, gotta go take care of that. I start driving, so I get up nice and early. I'm gonna go to Chick-fil-A for breakfast. I'm gonna go drop a couple of garbage bags at the dump. And then the wrench comes on my dashboard. I'm like, are you kidding me? I just had this in the shop. So I drive to Williamsburg instead of going the direction that I was going to go in. So it's like an hour drive. And I take it to the dealership and I'm like, I just got this. Vegs, why is it still broken? So they ran it and they're like, there's something wrong with the turbo and that's why it's not accelerating properly. And I'm like, okay. It's going to take a couple hours to diagnose it. I don't really have time. I've got to get these sheep under cover before the storm rolls in. Can I bring it back tomorrow? Is it drivable? He's like, oh yeah, you can drive it. It's fine. I'm like, okay. So I drive all the way down to Smithfield to go get some hay and some straw, stop back by Williamsburg on the way back home, and get some lunch. Well, after I get my lunch, my car really starts acting up. The check engine light is on. You can like smell something burning in the car. And I'm like, I don't think this is going to wait until tomorrow. So I drive back to the dealership and I'm like, hey, can you check it again? Just make sure. I know you said it was fine to drive. Can someone drive it around the block and just like assure me this car is fine? I can't get out into the middle of nowhere, have a breakdown, especially in the evening, can't go get a rental car. So they're like, oh, why don't you just leave it here? We've got an orange Mustang you could borrow. Now, I used to have a Mustang. It was a black one. I liked it. Good car. I gave it up when I got the SUV because I needed it for the sheep in the business. So while normally driving an orange Mustang would be a blast, I don't need a Mustang. I need my SUV back. So my poor SUV is in the shop now. Got another diagnosis. The turbo's out, which means that it's like $4,000 to replace, and I can't have it back until next Thursday. So I'm like, okay, whatever. got the Mustang, go to Tractor Supply, and I get the wrapped bales of straw. Super expensive. So I make it back here with some tarps and the straw stuffed into a Mustang before it rains. So I get the barn all set up, pop the sheep in there, close the gate, and I leave. And so I go back because I could only get straw in the car, so I had to go get hay. And then I had to go by the ATM to get money for the shearer, and I don't remember, there was something else I needed. So I drive like a half hour to go get hay and whatever else I needed. And I get a call from the guy who owns the property, and he's like, hey, I was on my porch, and I noticed the sheep aren't in the barn, and there's thunder in the distance. And I'm like, oh no. So I grab some corn. I love the little noise they make when they drink. Anyway, so I run real fast, and I grab some corn as well as the hay, get back in the car, drive all the way back up here. Takes forever. And then manage to get them back in the barn. But then we had to like barricade it, so the only way to get in and out of the barn was to climb over the gate, which was tricky, but I made it, didn't fall over, so that was good. So left them alone, hope they were all right. Friday came back, figured I would check on them, just make sure everybody was good. I think I wanted to give them, did I give them the hay? No, I gave them the hay on Thursday, but I figured they'd eat through it on Friday, and then they wouldn't have any food or water, so they could get sheared. So I came back on Friday morning just to check to make sure how they did in the storm, and Ulia is laying down, and she won't get up. I'm like, oh, crud. So I climb over the gate, and I literally have to haul her up. Her feet were like splayed out behind her. Like, you know how like when dogs lay down, they do that like flop and they have like their legs all spread out in the back? She was like doing that. So I don't know if somebody knocked her over or stepped on her and she just couldn't get back up. But I got her back up and she's eating and she was fine. Leave them again. This morning, something else weird happened yesterday as well. I don't remember. But anyway, so I got up extra early this morning. I was getting here nice and early so I could film, give an intro, show you how the barn was set up. I was so proud of myself. I like slipped in for an extra half hour. I was like, got plenty of time. And then got here, like halfway here, realized I left my wallet at home with money for the shearer in it. I'm like, oh, well, crud. I had to turn around, actually came, he back, got like 10 minutes late. He was here before me, but not like super before me, I hope. So anyways, got them all sheared. Ulia was being a pain because again, she was doing that thing where she's like laying down and wouldn't get up. So it was like totally embarrassing. And like my sheep are falling apart. But yeah, I cleaned up the barn. So I'm hoping the fleeces are worth it. They're all stuffed in bags right now. I didn't even have time to skirt them. The weather's a little iffy. You can see in the sky, like, I don't know. It gets like really nice and then all of a sudden the gray clouds roll in and it gets really breezy. So I didn't want to pull out all the fleeces and have them spread out on the wet grass. I want to get them rained on and then have to stuff them back in a bag. So I think what I'm going to do, I have no idea what I'm going to do. I can't put all the fleeces in the Mustang. It's a new car. It's a new car. Why did they give me this? Didn't they have like an old beater truck? They know I have sheep. They know I'm a mess. Ugh, it's such a pain. Anyway, so I think what I'm gonna do is go to the store and see if those giant Ziploc bags are like giant for storing stuff, and then maybe come back tomorrow because I think it's supposed to be nice tomorrow. And spread out the fleeces and pull out the good stuff, and then just leave everything else in trash bags. And maybe I can get the Ziploc bags in the car without like making a mess. So I don't know. It was a hot mess of a week. It was a mess. All right, so that's enough of me complaining like 10 minutes later. Let's go check out the sheep and see how their haircuts look. And I want to take a look at Ulia and show you kind of, and actually Veritas too, he's also a mess. Yeah, let me go put my bucket stool back and then we'll go find the sheep. And by the way, so since I have to get these stupid wrapped bales of hay from Tractor Supply, it is a highway robbery. I know I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. What they charge for one of these compressed bales. So you guys had better eat every single stitch of that hay. Oh my gosh. Like all the yards in the area are turning green. Mine is like calf deep. Needs to be mowed super badly. Hello, Mr. Adverb. And yet there's like not a stitch out here. So I'm hoping that starts coming up soon so I don't have to keep buying bales of hay. Well, you can see how caved in some of them are. So I'm going to actually put them back on corn a little bit earlier than what I originally planned on, just to be on the safe side. Hi. It's beginning of April, first week of April. I think these guys, if they're going to give me lambs, are maybe like the end of May, depending on when he did his job. So I'm hoping in the next couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, they'll start filling out so I can know for sure what we're dealing with. Now let's go over here. Here's Veritas. Now if you remember, or if you've seen my previous videos, you know that he was sick like all last summer. He had worms when I first got him, and then he got coccidia, and then he hurt his foot, and then I don't know what else happened. He was absolutely horrible. All this hair fell out. I know, you were a mess. So he was starting to fill out somewhat, but he's still super skinny. You can especially see it now that he's had his hair cut. Like, you can't see his ribs anymore, which is good. But he's still just like super caved in. And his hip bones are super prominent, which I don't like that at all. So he's better than he was last summer. But he's not as filled out as he was maybe a couple of weeks ago. So he's also definitely going to need to have his grain back. Ugh, you poor guy. All right, let's go find Ulia. I think she's out here. Felicia was not nearly as big as I thought she was going to be after getting her shearing done. Her sides were hanging like super low. I think she also had just a lot of wool on her. See, Felicia's back over on that side. There's Indy. Indy and Patches look such like goats now that they're sheared. See how round she is. Hoping that means she's full of lamb and not just fat. Trying to get around so you can see her other side. Patches was a little bit of a surprise. She is two-toned. Let's see if I can get in the light where you can see her. Hi, Patches. She is tan up top. And look how dark she is underneath. She is like a full-on black lamb on the bottom. So I guess the name Patches works perfectly for you, little girl. And she's a little thin too, but not bad. Not as bad as some of the other guys. The shearer did pretty good. He got a couple of, you can see, she's got a little nick right there. But not too bad. So the shearer I used, this is the girl we're going to talk about. The shearer I used was Thomas Pine, P-Y-N-E, Pine, I don't know, out of Charlottesville. And he was really good. I think I'm going to find I'm going to have a lot of second cuts in the fleeces. But in his defense, I didn't tell him that they were spinner's fleeces, and my sheep were kind of a hot mess. So, not actually complaining. He was great with them. Like I said, I got a few nicks, but nothing horrific. And he was really calm. The animals liked him. So, highly recommend, 10 out of 10. All right, so here is this girl. You can see he did not do a great job shearing her, but she was like super, super sticky. So, I don't blame him at all. But she's up and she's eating. You can see how skinny she is, even with some of her wool still on. She looks especially bad when she's so patchy. But I think her poos are back to normal, so I'm hoping she's doing okay. So I have dewormed 4 times using 3 different dewormers. 4 times total. I didn't use like all 3 dewormers 4 times, like that would have been crazy. But she's finally turning around. She had horrible bottle jaw. Her entire face was swollen and her chin, just kind of like when, if you saw my video when Veritas had bottle jaw, she was the exact same way. She was wheezing. Hi guys. When she put her head down, which she's not doing that anymore. So that's great. I've been giving her probiotics, which I left at home today, as well as an iron supplement. I was using Red Cell because that was recommended to me either by the vet or by the shepherdess who I got the flock from, or both of them, I can't remember. But then I was reading the bottle and saw warnings online of do not give this to sheep because it has copper in it. So now I'm conflicted and I don't know. But I did get her, actually the whole flock, they need them, a iron supplement pellet, which it's interesting because Veritas and Ulia, and actually, who else liked them too? Felicia, I think too. Love the iron pellets. Like they'll eat them straight out of my hand. But all the other ones, even when mixed with corn, they like sniff it and walk away. So I don't know if they kind of know I need this, kind of like when they eat as much mineral as they need. Hi, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. You look so silly with your haircut. That's Pisces. My big girl is no longer my big girl. She looks so funny. But anyway, so with her iron supplements and her probiotics and being dewormed, she's looking perkier, except for the when she sat down in the barn and wouldn't get up. But she's eating now, so hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully we're okay. All right, so that was today's sheep adventure. All right, so we are on a rescue mission. So I have cast on itis, and I really wanted to cast on a new project last night, but I realized that after I wound the yarn up that I needed my needle tips that were on a hat that I was making. And so I'm like, okay, I'll just finish up the hat real fast and I'll get my needles back. Can't find my hat and I can't find my tape measure. So my tape measure and my hat are together. I think I left them at work. So we're gonna go in and see if I can find my hat. A bit of a conundrum. No hat, no tape measure. Curious. So I'm telling you, when it rains, it pours. Oh, I'm stuck. When it rains, it pours. So today is Easter Sunday, which means, of course, nothing is open. But I came to maybe skirt some fleeces. I was looking for those giant, like, Ziploc-y bags. I was thinking maybe I could, like, compress some of the fleeces in and Ziploc it and be safe to put in the car. But no luck. I'd have to order them off Amazon and it'd get here, like, Friday after I have my car back. So no point in doing that. But I figured I'd come and check on the sheep, especially to see how Ulia was doing. Well, everybody else was up grazing, and I got some corn. Oh, now I'm being hit by Sergeant again. Stop it. Stare. He's like pawing at me. Got everybody some corn, but only 9 came over. So I'm like, oh, crud, gotta go find Ulia. So I managed to find her. She's out in the field. We're gonna go get her. I could not move. Look at this butthead standing in the dish. So I brought her some corn, and she ate some of it. Couldn't get her up. But she ate some of the corn until all the others came running over and realized there was corn, and then they ate all her corn. So I'll get her some more. But I figured I'd bring her some water. I don't know how long she's been down. Terrible lighting here because we're, of course, in bright sun, and Mr. Ram is just trying to drink all her water. She rolled back over again, but she was looking perky a second ago, trying to even eat the grass. See, she's trying to get up. So I'm going to need 2 hands. Yeah, she looks terrible because when she got sheared, the shearer was not so great with the shearing. She was really sticky and matted, to be fair. So I'm going to see if I can get her up. So I need 2 hands. Give me a second. Ugh. Do not step on her. I don't know if she's just been laying out here for too long. So I went and got her some more water because this butthead over here drank it all. And I mean, like, she's trying to eat. She can't be that far gone. I just can't get her to get her back feet underneath her. So I've tried lifting her from the front. That was no go because she wouldn't put her back feet under. So I tried lifting from the back and she still just wouldn't get them underneath her. So I'm hoping maybe if I can just kind of keep propping her up like this for a little while. I don't know. Like I said, I don't know how long she's been out here. If she's been out here overnight or just for a few hours. Stop hitting me. Stop. You're covered in hay crap. Oh my God. You're a mess. Go be with your girlfriends. Go find your girlfriends. Go. He's pretending to be helpful, but he's really not. Ugh. There's Veritas back by the road. See the tops of the other guys. See, stop stepping on her. It was in my goal this week to be able to bring the weed whacker out and cut down all of this tall stuff left from last year, because this is where the grass is growing up first. But without having the SUV, I can't get the lawn equipment in the car. Ugh. See, she's trying to eat. Ugh, okay, I'm gonna keep trying. I'll check back in a minute. Stop drinking her water. Come on, you're up before. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We're getting there, baby. All right, so I tried from the backside, again, like standing over her and pulling her up. And I managed to get her feet straight, but she won't put any like pressure on them at all. Like she's making no effort to raise her own body weight. So I've got her legs kind of tucked under her for right now, trying to see if that change in position will help with some circulation. But she was just straight on her side, so there shouldn't be anything pinched. You can see, I don't know if you can see on the ground, you can see where she was actually like digging into the ground, trying to get up at some point, but she just couldn't get up. And you can see where the like weeds are squished down, and I can see that pile of poop where she was laying. But she's still sitting here eating. Like, look at this. Like, she won't drink anything, which she hasn't yet. But she's clearly munching away. And Sergeant is being no help. You are zero help. So, I don't know. I'm feeling like this for a few minutes, and then we'll try again. Just moved her water bowl, because I figured we're almost to the open area. If I can get her out there, maybe we can have some more luck. And in the time I moved her water bowl, we had a nice big poop, which I don't know what that means, but it happened. Come on, we're so close. If I leave her here now, I have to go to work tonight. I won't be able to come back, and she will not be alive in the morning. So either she gets up or we're down a sheep, which I'm not ready to give up on yet. All right, so update. I've been at this for I don't know how long. I have to go to work tonight, so I don't have that much longer to try. But I found 2 ropes, and this is not my favorite idea. I do not recommend this. But I put one under her front armpits, one under her back armpits, and was finally able to get all 4 legs under her at one time. She's not standing on her own right now. She is heavily relying on me. You can see she's up against my legs, and I'm still holding on to the ropes. But we're upright, and she's eating. See, this is why I refuse to give up, because she's not off her feed. She's hungry. She wants it. She just won't stand up. So I'm going to hold her like this for a little while, and then I'll check back in and let you know how it worked. Oh, don't worry. 2 hands on the steering wheel and eyes on the road. But wanted to fill you in, because I'm not kidding when I say everything that could have gone wrong this week has gone wrong. So while I was filming, just now, and I put you in my pocket, and when I was ready to say something else, I pulled you out of my pocket, and my phone was dead. So not only could I not film, which really wasn't the important part, but I also didn't have anything on me that told me what time it was, and clearly I have to work tonight, right? So yeah, anyways, I can't remember where I left off, but the rope trick worked. I got Ulia back up on her feet, and she was on her feet for a while pretty good. Like, she kept leaning on me, but then she was standing up on her own, and then I took the ropes off and I was just kind of walking next to her. And I keep telling people, I'll say this again and again, I keep telling people sheep are not as stupid as everyone thinks they are, but in reality, they're idiots. So Ulia, instead of walking toward, I don't know, shade, water, the hay in the hay feeder, the other sheep, no, she wants to continue grazing back in that area, because that's where some of the fresh grass is starting to come up. But she just keeps walking back further and further into the deeper grass. So I'm like, whatever, I can't help you at this point. I'm gonna go to work. So I go to leave, go put the ropes away, whatever. Turn around, and I don't see her backside in the tall grass anymore. And I'm like, like, oh, crud. So I turn around and I go back, and she's gotten to like a little path they've carved along the fence on the far side of the tall grass, and she's laid down again. And I'm like, I can't help you up against the fence. It's barbed wire. The top of it's barbed wire. The bottom of it's woven wire. I was like, woven wire, welded wire? It's woven wire. And so I managed to get her back up again. And I'm trying to get her to walk out of the tall grass, but she just keeps going deeper and deeper into the tall grass. And then she falls over again and can't get up. So I gotta go get the ropes. Got the ropes, got her back up, and managed to pull her a little bit further out of the tall grass. But that's all she wants to graze. She won't go near the other sheep. So anyway, that's where she was when I left her. She was up, she was walking pretty steadily, and she was in shorter grass. So I'm hoping she'll be fine for now. Because again, even the little sheep, when Buttercup passed away, she was still on her, just got super weak, but she was still on her feet. She was, you know, getting perkier, had done all the worming. Even Ulia's eyes were looking a little bit pinker. They were like dead white before, but now they look like they have a little tiny bit of pink in them. Still not great, but better than they were. And so I'm hoping she makes it, because we've done all this work to get her through, and she's a great sheep. Probably not pregnant, because she's just so under the weather, but I want to, like, I don't know, she's a great sheep. And it would just be a shame to lose her. So anyway, I'm wearing pants underneath my petticoats, and I grabbed my t-shirt that I was wearing earlier and my shoes. And so I think after work, I'll just drive straight out there just to check on her again. I don't know, I'm just super worried that if she falls down in the field and she's out in the open all night, that she just isn't going to make it until morning. Fortunately, we do have one more day off of school, so I can go check on her nice and early and make sure she's okay. But I don't know what to do at this point. And I'm mad because all my stuff, my probiotics and my iron supplement, all of that's in my stupid car that's in this stupid shop. I had gone, I'll probably put a video up later, I had gone searching for my hat because I wanted the needles to cast on a new project because, you know, why not? And can't find my hat, and I'm hoping my hat's in the car too. It's just a stupid nightmare of a week. So I'm hoping everything goes okay, but that's where we are right now. Now I'm driving to work, running a little bit late, so I'm hoping I'll be able to stop and get some coffee on the way, maybe. I don't know. Again, can something just go right? That'd be super. Just one thing go right, please. Anyway, I'm just complaining at this point, so I'll get off, and we'll let you know how Ulia's doing when I check back in. Oh, and I forgot in my list of complaints that now I'm super thirsty because I didn't bring anything with me to drink, and I just spent like 2 hours in a field lifting sheep up. But I got water at home, so I'm all set now. But the other thing was, does anyone else out there have to put like a flea and tick collar on their sheep? Because I totally pulled a tick off of Sergeant's head. Like he's just gotten sheared, right? But his wool is naturally a little bit shorter around like where not his horn, I don't know what they're called, buds. He's not a horned sheep. So he's got like these little bald patches though, on top of his head, and he had a tick, and I had to pull the tick off, which he was not real happy about. But does anybody else have a problem with getting ticks on their sheep? Let me know in the comments, because I'm just curious at this point. Alright, so I know I'm super graining right now because it is about 11 o'clock at night. Just got done with work, and even though I was super tired, wanted to go home, I was like, I am going to regret it if I don't come out here. I figured if I waited until morning and I came out and Ulia had died overnight, I would have kicked myself for not at least coming out and checking on her. So I've changed back into my sweatshirt. I left my hair up. I've got my colonial socks on, a pair of pants, and like my shift. I don't know if you can see it, but like my shift, my colonial underwear is underneath my sweater. But I took out all the outer layers, so nothing would happen to that. But let's go look and see if we can find Ulia. I see somebody laying up against the side of the barn. I'm hoping it's her. There's still plenty of hay. So clearly they've been getting enough to eat out in the pasture. Let's see who all we have. Let me turn you around. All right, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep, so just, hi buddy. Oh my goodness, hi. All right, excuse me. Sorry about that. Oh, my Veritas is making noises. Excuse me, miss. Get down. She got up. Guys, she just got up. She got up on her own. Oh my gosh. Come here, Ulia. Oh, a head button going on over here. My goodness. Ulia got up all on her own. Come here, beautiful girl. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh yeah, let me not get, oh yeah, shake it off, shake it off. I'm like blinding her with my light, but that's okay by me. Oh, look at her walk. Mr. Rammy Pants, hello. I'm so sorry that I talk to my sheep in like baby voices. I apologize for all that you guys have to listen to me. But look at this. Can I get her to walk? Hi, Ulia. Did you get water? Oh, and she's steady on her feet. That is so good. Looking at her face. Her bottle jaw is gone, or just about all gone. Hi, yes. Oh, I know. Look at that. Look at her walk. Yes. All right, so I'm so excited. As I came around the corner, everybody was grazing near the fence, and I had to stop and count, and all 10 of my little buddies were up. She's walking away, but Ulia is up. Where is she going? There she is. And walking around, and she looks, well, she looks terrible, but she's up and walking around. So I'm really, really excited about that. I'm gonna see if I can get around in front of her. Hi, Sergeant. It's a hot mess. Look at her eat. Look at that. Come here, Ulia. Can you say hi to people? Oh my goodness. Look at that. So hopefully yesterday was just a fluke and she really did just lay down in a spot and couldn't get back. Who is, look at this. Look at this. Look at this hot mess. Hi. He's a good boy. And we got Tierney back here, and here comes Unica. Oh. The one I feel so bad for is actually, no, that's Pisces. Is that Pisces? That's actually Pisces. Okay, so my big fluff of a girl, that's her. She does not look the same without her giant coat on. And in fact, she looks almost identical to Tierney, who's actually that, where'd she go? Right there. Is that girl right there, I think. I don't know, I'm gonna check their tag numbers. I don't know anymore, it's throwing me off. All right, so let's go ahead and get these guys some corn. I really hope he doesn't turn mean. All right, before I grab the corn, I just want to point out how terrible. Remember I was complaining about the highway robbery that is Tractor Supply. Well, it's not really Tractor Supply's fault. It's, what brand is this? Do More, maybe? Like, it's not even, ow, excuse me, sir, stop it. This is like terrible hay. Like, some of this stuff is good. Like, kind of like that stuff. But all of this, the sheep like won't even eat it. And it was 30 bucks for a bale. So, but anyway, so this is still that same bale from the other day. I don't know if they just absolutely hate it and they're refusing to eat it, or if they're getting enough out of the pasture. So, I don't know. Back to corn it is. Oh my gosh, I laughed so hard. They're fighting over and spilling these two tiny, guys, bowls of corn, whereas like there's a huge trough over here with just one. Come on. Again, I always try to say that sheep aren't as stupid as everyone thinks they are, but here's a little bit of proof. Hi, Felicia. So what we've been doing feed-wise for these guys, last fall, when we started not having enough pasture for everyone, I started them on just hay, and pretty much would give them like one bale of hay every other day, or maybe every day, depending on how big the bale was. And I ended up, they're still looking a little thin, adding in some corn, working up to about 1 pound of corn a day per sheep. And so over the winter, we were having like 1 pound of corn each. And then on top of that, they had access to probably at least 3 to 4 pounds of hay a day per sheep. So that way there was extra, and if any fell on the ground, there was just plenty available for everyone, so nobody was going hungry. But a few weeks ago, when we had that scare with the possible grain overload, I took everybody off of their corn, cold turkey, and then just started giving them all you could eat hay. But now that we're getting closer to possibly lambing, we'll see what happens. And I've got a few ones that I don't like how thin they are, like Ulia right here. I'm gonna start adding corn back in. There we go, have all the words. So they aren't getting a full pound each right now. You gotta work back up to it slowly so that the rumen has time to adjust to the grain. But I think today we're up to doing 7 pounds for 10 sheep. So we're getting close to our full pound per animal. So hopefully that'll be able to fatten everybody up appropriately, but not too much before lambing time. So we'll see what happens. All right, so Unica, I think it was Unica, she's drinking out of the water container, let loose some really smushy poop. Now, it wasn't like liquid quite yet, but it was like really ploppy. And I am not risking anything going wrong with these guys again. And so we're making a Tractor Supply run, yay, to go get some Corid. And I'll show you how I give that to them. All right, so they moved their stuff around. Their Corid is now over by their chicken stuff. I'm assuming it works for chickens too then. So I'm gonna grab a bottle of that. They also have these cool new like chicken feeders. I really like that, but it's expensive, and my chickens aren't gonna be coming until a lot later. I'll talk about that later because they're on back order, but whatever. So here's our cord, let's grab that. So the usual disclaimer, I am not a vet, consult a vet if you actually have an issue. So the back of the bottle has all of the instructions for how to dose the sheep. And if I've just got one sheep that I'm super worried about, I'll follow the mixing instructions and take like a big mason jar and fill it with fresh water and then make the solution in there. And then I think it's over here, they have that instruction. Yeah, as a drench. And then I will use that mason jar as my drench. But even though I've only got one sheep with smushy poop right now, if one has it, chances are the rest are gonna get it, especially with me going back and forth different types of hay and reintroducing corn and the grass coming up in the field. So I'm gonna go ahead and just dose everybody in their drinking water. So I have one of those like foam, rubber, something, I don't know, whatever, trough feeders. It's 50 gallon. And I don't get very technical or scientific with it. So it says, add Corid to drinking water at the rate of 16 ounces per 100 gallons. And there is 16 ounces in here. So for my full 50 gallon container, I'll dump about half the bottle in and give it a stir. And then that is probably not 5 days worth of drinking water now that it's getting hot. So in a few days, I'll probably dump it out, give them fresh water again, and then add the rest of the bottle and then see how everybody's doing. But that's how that works. I love how with anything animal related, half of it is poo analysis. So that's the poo that came out of, I think it was Unica, if I'm not mistaken. So it's not good, but it's not horrible. So here we have our fresh water, about 50 gallons. So we're gonna add in about half a bottle of Corid. Again, I'm not like super scientific about this, but it seems to work. A little more. And it's about half. It's hard to tell, I'm holding it at an angle, but trust me, it's about half. And then I'll put this down and give it a little bit of a stir. And hopefully that will take care of our bathroom issues. Cunning plan enacted. She's already drinking. And these guys too. So, hopefully, Corid will do the trick.